In the rapidly evolving landscape of global geopolitics, new alliances are emerging that challenge traditional power structures and reshape international relations. Among the most discussed developments in recent years is the growing partnership between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. While these nations are separated by geography, they share common strategic interests, economic pressures, and political motivations that have drawn them closer together. Today we will talk about Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, the emerging axis of global tension. So, before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. The origins of their strategic alignment. The relationship between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela did not emerge overnight. Instead, it developed gradually through decades of diplomatic interaction and shared political objectives. Historically, Russia maintained influence in the Middle East and parts of Latin America during the Cold War through the Soviet Union. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russia's global influence declined temporarily. However, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, Moscow began rebuilding its global partnerships and expanding its geopolitical reach. Iran, meanwhile, has experienced decades of tensions with Western countries following the Iranian Revolution. Since then, Tehran has pursued a foreign policy aimed at resisting Western pressure while building partnerships with countries that share similar challenges. Venezuela's alignment with these countries intensified under Hugo Chavez, who promoted an anti-imperialist foreign policy and strengthened ties with Russia and Iran. This policy has continued under Nicolas Maduro, particularly as Venezuela faces economic sanctions and political isolation. Sanctions and the creation of strategic partnerships. One of the strongest forces pushing these three countries closer together is the impact of international sanctions. The United States and several Western allies have imposed economic sanctions on Russia due to the war involving Ukraine, while Iran has long faced sanctions related to its nuclear program. Venezuela has also been subjected to sanctions targeting its oil industry and government officials. As a result, these nations have increasingly cooperated to bypass financial restrictions, develop alternative trade systems, and maintain access to international markets. For example, Russia and Iran signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement in 2025 designed to expand economic cooperation, mitigate sanctions, and strengthen military and political ties. This partnership reflects a broader effort among sanctioned countries to build economic networks that operate outside Western financial systems. Energy cooperation. Oil as a geopolitical tool. Energy is perhaps the most important factor connecting Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. Together, these three countries control some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. Russia is one of the world's largest oil exporters, while Venezuela possesses the largest proven oil reserves globally. Iran also ranks among the top oil producers. These countries often coordinate policies within organizations such as OPEC+, where energy exporters attempt to influence global oil prices and production levels. Russia and Venezuela signed a strategic partnership agreement in 2025, focusing heavily on energy cooperation, including joint exploration, oil trading, and coordination in global energy forums. Meanwhile, Iran has invested heavily in Venezuela's oil infrastructure, helping repair refineries and supply parts needed to maintain production. This cooperation allows these countries to maintain oil exports despite sanctions and economic restrictions. Military cooperation and defense partnerships. Beyond economic cooperation, military collaboration also plays a key role in the relationship between these countries. Russia has long served as a major arms supplier to Venezuela, providing fighter jets, tanks, helicopters, and air defense systems. Iran has also supported Venezuela with military technology, including drones and defense equipment. Meanwhile, Iran and Russia have strengthened military cooperation as well. Their strategic partnership includes defense collaboration, intelligence sharing, and coordination on regional security issues. Recent reports have even suggested that Russia may be sharing intelligence data with Iran related to U.S. military movements in the Middle East, highlighting the depth of their strategic coordination. While these partnerships do not form a formal military alliance like NATO, they still represent significant security cooperation. Diplomatic coordination on the global stage. Russia, Iran, and Venezuela often coordinate their diplomatic positions within international organizations. In forums such as the United Nations, these countries frequently oppose Western sanctions, military interventions, and political pressure campaigns. They also support each other diplomatically when facing international criticism. This mutual backing allows them to maintain a stronger position in global diplomacy despite political isolation. By working together, they aim to reshape international norms around sovereignty, economic sanctions, and global governance. Financial systems and the challenge to the dollar. Another important aspect of their cooperation involves attempts to reduce reliance on the United States dollar. Western sanctions often rely on the dominance of the US dollar in international financial systems. To bypass these restrictions, Russia, Iran, and Venezuela have explored alternative payment systems and trade arrangements. For example, some trade between these countries is conducted using local currencies or alternative financial networks rather than the traditional Western banking system. This effort reflects a broader global trend where certain countries seek to reduce dependence on Western financial infrastructure. The role of China in the emerging network. Although the focus is often on Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, another important player is China. China maintains strong economic ties with all three countries, particularly in the energy sector. Chinese companies import large quantities of oil from Russia and Iran, often at discounted prices. In addition, China has invested heavily in Venezuela's oil infrastructure and provided financial support during periods of economic crisis. These relationships create a broader geopolitical network that challenges Western influence in multiple regions simultaneously. Regional implications of the alliance. The cooperation between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela has important regional implications. In the Middle East, Iran's partnerships with Russia strengthen its strategic position in conflicts involving countries such as Israel and Saudi Arabia. In Europe, Russia's confrontation with NATO has reshaped security dynamics and increased tensions across the continent. In Latin America, Venezuela's partnerships with Russia and Iran allow external powers to maintain a strategic presence close to the United States. This geographic spread makes the alliance particularly significant because it links geopolitical tensions across multiple continents. Media narratives and strategic messaging. Another important aspect of this emerging partnership involves information and media strategy. Governments in Russia, Iran, and Venezuela often promote narratives that emphasize resistance to Western dominance and the creation of a multipolar world order. These narratives resonate with some countries that view Western influence as overly dominant in global institutions. By promoting alternative visions of global governance, these countries aim to build broader coalitions among nations seeking greater independence from Western political structures. Future scenarios: cooperation or confrontation? Looking ahead, the relationship between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela could develop in several different directions. In one scenario, their cooperation may deepen further, leading to stronger economic and military partnerships. This could strengthen their ability to resist sanctions and maintain geopolitical influence. In another scenario, internal economic challenges or shifting political leadership could weaken these partnerships. Global power dynamics are constantly changing, and alliances that appear strong today may evolve as circumstances shift. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.